This video is going to show you how to find the x-intercept of a quadratic equation. Some other names that you might hear referring to x-intercepts are zeros, roots, and when your function is equal to 0, or if y is equal to 0. This all means to find the x-intercept, all the same thing. So for example, a function h of t is equal to negative 16t squared plus, that should say 32t plus 48. And this function gives us the height of a basketball being thrown upward, where h of t is the height in feet and t is the time in seconds. How long is the ball in the air? So let's think about it for a second. We have this height, and of course it's going to start at 0. This is our time, and this is our height. So, since our c value is positive 48, that means it's starting at 48. It goes up, because we're tossing it upward, and then it comes down. So, if we want to know how long is the ball in the air, then we know that we're talking about time. Because time is how long something happens. Right? And the ball hits the ground when your h of t is equal to 0. So we basically want to see what is this value right here, our distance from 0. So we know that the x-intercept is when our function is equal to 0. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our function h of t and we're going to set it equal to 0. And we want to find out what the t is going to be. So in order for us to solve, it's easiest to get rid of the negative, first of all, in front of the t squared. So our a is negative, and that's kind of sloppy. So we want to get rid of the negative. But also, before we start factoring, we need to find out if there's a GCF. And there is. The greatest common factor here is 16. But let's divide by negative 16 so that we can get rid of that negative in the front. So when we do that, we're going to get 0 is equal to positive t squared minus 2t minus 3. So now we're going to factor so that we can use our zero product property. So we get 0 is equal to t minus 3 times t plus 1. And again, I'm just using my factoring skills. It was already in standard form, and I already factored out the GCF. Well, I divided it. So now what we can do is we can go ahead and use the zero product property. I'm going to take this first factor and set it equal to 0. And I'll take the second factor and set this equal to 0. Now I can add 3 on both sides, and I get t is equal to 3. But when I get this one, I get a weird answer. I get t is equal to negative 1. We can't have negative time, so we cross this one out. That one doesn't work. Our real answer is 3 seconds. So the ball will be in the air for 3 seconds. It started at 0 and hit the ground at 3.